This is Morning Madness episode number 88. If you become a patron, patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show, you get all other 88 episodes right there to download or whatever, and every other episode of Morning Madness that I do. So enjoy it, and hope you like the sample here. Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to Morning Madness. No intro. I mean, no intro music because, fuck it, right? But thank you guys for being $5 patrons. You guys are here really fucking funding this shit, making it go, making my show go, making our lives be good. So thank you so much for that. Hopefully we can get some more people on board with Patreon and get it flowing soon. But god damn it, man. I've got like fucking 700 emails about, and you guys might have gotten this too. Like 70 million emails about privacy policy updates. Just so many of them. A lot of them because of the EU's general data protection regulations. But just, I don't know if it's other things too. Just everybody, just freaking emails bombarding you about privacy policy updates. It's getting just fucking crazy. Like, there's so many of them. I'm like waiting for emails from, like about, taxes and house approval stuff and all these things. And every goddamn second, it's like fucking, I'm like, oh, what's this going to be? Oh, privacy policy update. Or please sign the new policy, which I'm sure are all designed to steal our shit somehow. You know what I mean? In the end, that's what almost all of this shit is something like that. Because it's all bullshit. But, yeah, besides that, it was, what a nice day. This was an allergy attack day for me. Like, it was like, my eyes were itching, my face was swelling up. And like a dumbass, after all that, after all the terrible, weird feelings that I had, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out back, and I'm going to sit at the table, and I'm going to do a live stream from my backyard. Well, I can literally just see the fucking pollen falling off trees. I'm like, yeah, that'll be a good idea. That'll be great. Now, it was fun. I enjoyed doing the live stream, and I always do. But I wasn't enjoying afterwards when I came inside, and it finally started affecting the shit out of me. In fact, I forgot to take a goddamn Allegra. I meant to take an Allegra earlier. Damn it. And now I'm just thinking about it now, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I was going to do that. Oh, well. Chalk it up to a million things I didn't do. You know, sad news. You guys know I'm a Star Trek geek. I probably talk about Star Trek every other episode of this. Ahura, the actress Nichelle Nicholas, she had like hand over her money and assets to family or something or other, because she has like dementia and everything. It's just really sad, and it's sad when I want to say that you start to son of a bitch with this fucking thing. You start to feel really old. You start to feel older. I think about when you turn 30. That's how I feel. Maybe some of you guys feel that way at 26, 25, 28, I don't know. But really when you start to turn 30 is when, at least this is my experience. I mean, some of my heroes have died, okay? Some of them have died. Like Peter Steele of Typo Negative. Love Typo Negative. Peter Steele died. Fucking hard. It was crazy. Because, like, man, I just love Typo Negative, and I thought we were going to get more Typo Negative, and all of a sudden the guy dies, Dimebag Darrell was shot to death. That sucked. And then George Carlin died. That was a big one, because George Carlin, I mean, all artists are like this. I love music. I love comedians. I love people who produce art and programs and things like that, And, I just, with George Carlin, it was like every year, every couple years, it was like waiting for a new the new TV series season, whatever TV show you watch, waiting for the next season next year. Except sometimes George Carlin took a year, sometimes took 2 years. But usually every couple of years, you knew that George Carlin was going to come around and release a special, and it was going to be fucking hilarious. And when he died, it was like, I can't believe it, it's over. Because even when he was really old, when he started really showing that he was old, you know what I mean? He was starting to break down a bit, it seemed, and get old. He released his last special, It's Bad For You. And I remember we saw him live that year, or just like maybe 8 months before that. We saw him live. I think it might have been in June or something. Probably find out by Googling it when it was here in Boston. I was at that show, man, and he was leaning on a stool the whole time, a lot of the time. And I remember thinking, like, damn, George is leaning on that stool a whole hell of a lot. I never seen him do that. And then, he passed away, and I think it was 2000. Was it 2008? It wasn't 2008, was it? No, it couldn't have been 2008. It must have been 2006. Right? Yeah, Jesus. Let me go look it up because I'm out of my mind. It was 2008 when he died. So maybe I saw him in 2007. That's what it was. Okay, that makes sense. Because I saw him with my ex-girlfriend. And I knew I didn't see him with Leah. And I was like, wait a minute, but I was with Leah in 2008. Okay, so 2008, he passed away. So it was the summer of 2007 when I saw George. And, George Carlin, and I know that it's hard to figure people out because a lot of people, it's trendy to say, oh, I like George Carlin, because at some point you discover George Carlin and he just becomes like your favorite fucking guy, comedian, many people, right? But, he was pretty authentic for me. I saw George, the first time I saw George Carlin was on TV. Obviously, there was like Thomas the Tank Engine. There was Bill and Ted, Bill and Ted, obviously, when I was a little kid, I saw George there. I saw George Carlin's Carnegie Hall, and I remember laughing at that, thinking it was hilarious. But what I really remember was seeing him do Jammin' in New York. And to this day, there's two versions of that. There's two fucking versions of Jammin' in New York. The one that aired on HBO originally was hilarious. And the second one that for some reason got released on a DVD, it was slightly different. His delivery was slightly different. And it was way funnier to me the other way. I think he nailed the pronunciations so much better on the first one. Like the second one was good, but the first one was so goddamn good. And maybe I was just used to it, I don't know, but it always pissed me off that they released the second one, and on the DVD collection, it's the alternate one that's there. Years and years ago, I ripped it off YouTube, 2007 or so. I ripped it off YouTube onto a DVD, and I put it in the fucking the collection one that I had so I could watch the alternate one. I don't know what the hell happened to that thing, but I wish I gotta find it. I don't know where the fuck it is. But yeah, George Carlin, man. And you talk about influences on people. Obviously wrestling and radio were huge for me. So many influences, man. I mean, when anybody who's 30 right now, in their 40s, maybe in 30s, and late 20s, like 29, 30, 31, 32. I mean, we saw so many things happen in the 80s, 90s that there was just so much shit to consume. It was out of control. These fucking gaming systems were coming out left and right. Movies, just comedy, computers, and things just took off everywhere. And man, I just loved it all. I loved so much shit, Any minute you could say, like, this was my favorite thing. You don't know. But the one consistency with me has always been spoken word. And I don't mean spoken word like going to the fucking deaf poetry and talking about your dog's insides, feelings, or something. I don't know. That was retarded what I just said, but whatever. Fuck it. What I mean is, I've always enjoyed talk radio, or stories, or comedy, now podcasts, radio, TV. I love that shit. I just do. One of my favorite things is to just, you know, be able to put something on in the background and listen to it. Which I know a lot of you guys, it's your favorite thing. That's why you're here, most of you. And that, you know, that's just always been what I enjoy. And so George Carlin was always great to listen to because he'd make you laugh while you just listen to it. If it was a stand-up or whatever. You know, and that was a huge influence. And for him to die was just fucking, I can't even believe it was almost 10 years ago. When he died, I was like, just shocking. I'm like, I can't even believe it. I remember following his widow at the time, you know, listening to what she said about him, and it was just so weird that he was dead, man. It was so weird. I didn't know him or anything, but it just felt wrong because ever since, I want to say 94, you know, you expect, I mean, I had heard George Carlin before that, but in 1994, I decided I am going to listen to every special this guy puts out. My mom, the weird thing was it was on in the house and my mother's boyfriend was watching it. And, you know, they never made me turn it off or anything. I got to watch it, and I thought it was fucking hilarious. You know, funny enough, one of the other guys that made me laugh at the same time was Denis Leary. I heard some of his material on the radio for some reason. And he was doing the bit about, you know, you could die any minute in New York. You know what I mean? And Denis Leary was talking about, and you know, a poodle could come off a building and land on your head. And he's like, and the poodle's heading at the ground at 1,000 fucking miles an hour. And kerchunk, it's embedded in your head. You're dead on contact. Every day in New York could be your last. Oh, yeah. I remember that's the way fucking Leary would talk. And of course, later on it came out that, you know, Leary ripped off a bunch of fucking, or seemingly ripped off, allegedly ripped off a bunch of shit from the guy that I can't remember his name. The guy, Alex Jones. The guy that everybody thinks Alex Jones is. What the hell was his name? It's a comedian. Great guy. I mean, the smoking thing, well, you couldn't deny that. Denis Leary's like, I love to smoke, I love to smoke, I love to smoke. I mean, dude, it was just bizarre. It was like, dude, he just does the same thing as you. I had no idea, man. Denis Leary, it seems like he did rip some shit off, but Bill Hicks is who it was. Shit, it just came to me, Bill Hicks. And yeah, there's videos out there you can compare the two of them. And I don't know why I never, you know, like Carlos Mencia, I think is a piece of shit. You know, he obviously ripped off people. Carlos Mencia stole jokes and was a kind of piece of garbage. And he admitted to it, too. But he was anyway. I mean, I give him credit for admitting to it, though, you know. I don't think Denis Leary ever did admit to it, and I don't think he's happy about these comparisons, but it is weird. And but I still like Denis Leary, and I don't know why. And it is true, because Carlos Mencia was like, you know, hey, it's not my fault if, you know, I do your jokes better than you know. If I do them better, you know, who the fuck cares about you? And I think that, I don't know, I think Denis Leary kind of did a twist on Bill Hicks a little bit. It was almost like a, you know, because I think Denis Leary did write his own stuff most of the time, but there were these little things that he would say that were like, wow, you must be listening to Bill Hicks. And maybe he was just listening to him a lot. Maybe he was listening to a lot of people, and Bill Hicks was one of them, and he was doing drugs and shit, and then he started writing jokes, and he didn't realize. And then he was off the drugs, and then he had his jokes, and he still had his jokes, and he went and started telling them, and he fucking forgot that he'd been listening to Bill Hicks. And then he was like, oh, fuck. You know, I don't know. Rescue Me was great, though. But yeah, my heroes, man. Some heroes are dead. Peter Steele, George Carlin, Dimebag Darrell. Love Dimebag Darrell as a guitar player. But I mean, you know, and even Dimebag, like, I like Pantera. And I like Dimebag Darrell. But I mean, my really heroes, man, George Carlin is fucking it for me, man. He inspired the shit out of me for so many things. And I know he inspired many people. But I mean, he inspired me at a very early age. And I loved it. If you go listen to that Denis Leary, if I ever die, which I hope I don't soon, even though my feet are tingling, I feel like something's fucking wrong with me. But hopefully I don't die soon because I have kids, and I would like to take care of my children. So hopefully I live to be old, I hope, or at least live to be fucking something that's not fucking like below 45. Because I want to take care of my kids. That is my main thing. It'd be devastating for that not to happen. Just want to be there for them. But, you know, someday, for God's forsaken, for some weird fucking reason, you know, you want to connect with me, and I'm dead, so you can't connect with me. I would tell people to listen to listen to George Carlin, and listen to that Denis Leary stand up where he's talking about the fucking being a New Yorker is like a badge, wearing a badge on your shoulder, and a poodle being pushed off the top of a building and landing in your fucking head, or stepping out in front of a bus. And you can think of me, because I love those stand-ups, and I love George Carlin's everything George Carlin ever fucking does, as far as stand-up goes. Stand-up comedy, George Carlin. You are all diseased. Fucking hilarious. Who else is dead hero? Is there any other? I'm sure I'm leaving out like fucking lots of people, but okay, I'm not leaving out lots of people. Lots of people are dead, but there's only a few heroes. You know what I mean? But no. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, like the Macho Man. He's kind of a hero. He's dead. You know, I would say that if and I know we give shit to him, but if Vince McMahon was dead, that would be one. I think I've always been inspired by Vince McMahon, how he fucking just ran his own company. He was able to change with times, and just his work ethic. You know, that's inspirational. I don't know if I definitely don't have Vince McMahon's work ethic. Well, a little bit in a way. People would say I do, but I don't. I definitely do not. And that is something I wish I could be like Vince McMahon, as far as how just fucking crazy he is at working. You know, and Howard Stern, and those are all things that molded me early, for my first 15 years, maybe first 14 years on this planet, would be, you know, George Carlin and Denis Leary, George Carlin, and Bill Cosby himself. Funny enough, I mean, people are gonna make jokes now about putting the pudding dick, but Bill Cosby's himself was big too. I love that stand-up. Bill Cosby's himself, the fact that he was pretty much clean on the comedy, just funny, because when he was clean in the comedy, he was going in raw and some fucking passed out whore. No, I'm just kidding. They weren't whores, probably. They were probably nice ladies. I shouldn't have said that. Fuck it. Probably one of your mothers out there. No. I'm kidding. It's my mother, probably. I was adopted, so who the fuck knows what happened there. But, yeah, Carlin, man, and, you know, Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla, that was another big one, man, when I was that age. I fucking loved Loveline, you know, listening to Howard Stern, Loveline, and George Carlin. Those have to be the big three, right? They have to be the big three. George Carlin, Loveline, and what the fuck was Howard Stern. Absolutely the big three. And then, you know, the Denis Leary is like, he only had one really good stand-up, one or two good things. And I loved them, though. I listened to them a million times over. And then I listened to Bill Cosby himself. Loved it. When I was really little, I loved fucking Steve Martin, actually, is another one. I can't believe I left Steve Martin out. Steve Martin, a wild and crazy guy. You know, that fucking one. Wow, I said it more like a game show host. Well, you know, something about Steve Martin is, he's got no penis. I can't do Steve Martin right now because my fucking throat's fucked up. I don't know. Well, it's really nice to meet you. Remember that fucking wild and crazy guy? What the fucking wild and crazy guy, man. That was one I was allowed to listen to when I was a little kid. So, that was a very early one, and that's, you know, I love putting the CD on and listening to Steve Martin's voice. And I'm not some fucking dinosaur, by the way. If you're like 16 listening to this and you're one of my patrons, or you're like whatever the fuck, or 18 or whatever you are, and you're like, damn, like this is like the dinosaurs, you know, Joe was listening to the radio and shit. No, man, we had fucking TV and video games and shit. I just like drift towards audio. You know, everybody else watching shit. But, yeah, man, that wild and crazy guy. I got to get a pair of cat handcuffs, and I got to get them right away. I just love that. I love that CD. He's got the fucking bunny rabbit ears on his goddamn head. He does the King Tut song. That dumbass song. I love that shit. Steve Martin, I mean, that was another one-off for me because I didn't really listen to a lot of other stuff Steve Martin did, you know. I liked fucking Bowfinger and some of those goofy movies he made, but, you know, really, that was it. It was a one and done, just like Bill Cosby himself. And, you know, Dave Chappelle to a certain extent for a lot of years. I mean, that was obviously later. Dave Chappelle was much later. But Dave Chappelle's one of my heroes, too. I would call him a hero. And you know, hero is a fucking weird word. Why do we say that? Hero? Did they fucking save you from something? The hell? Yeah, my hero. No, they're not your hero. If they were your hero, they would have saved you or something. You know, my hero. Oh, that's cute. You have a hero. What is it, comedian? No, this guy saved me from the fucking railroad tracks. Oh, okay, really? Okay. Yeah, so I mean, they're not really heroes, but they're influences, right? Influences is a great word. Influences or people that you look up to. Dave Chappelle for sure. Not only was the first, you know, the Chappelle show so great when I was, how old was I when I came out? I was about 20, I think, when Chappelle show came out. Not only did I love that, but Killing Him Softly. God damn it, is that one of the best stand-ups. I love that stand-up. Dave Chappelle, and you know, and listen, you're never going to do better than it. Okay, it's not your fault, Dave. You're never going to do better than Killing Him Softly. It just ain't going to happen. Nobody can, because it's like one of the top, it's got to be one of the top 10 favorite stand-ups of all time. I would think on many people's lists. I would hope. Although there was one stand-up by Robin Williams one time where he was pretending to come on stage, shooting water bottles everywhere. That was pretty funny. Man, he was fucking unhinged in that fucking Robin Williams. He was all over the place. But no, Dave Chappelle's Killing Him Softly. And I liked Richard Pryor as a kid, but it wasn't until I was a little older that I found Richard Pryor. I just somehow didn't get into him enough. But I loved Richard Pryor but not for his stand-up. I just loved him in the movies. I saw Richard Pryor in movies, and I enjoyed him in movies. And it wasn't until later. He's one of the greatest comedians of all time. I just didn't, you know, get influenced by him. And that just coincidence. I didn't run into him. That's all. You know, but I did in Chappelle when I was 20. I think everybody did. The whole goddamn world did. That's why the DVD sales went out the goddamn fucking window. But Bill Burr was another one after Dave Chappelle. I'm going through my more recent ones and people that I like recently. And Bill Burr was really cool because what I love about Bill Burr, the story, first of all, he's from Canton, Mass., which is right up the road. But the other fucking thing about Bill Burr is, you know, when he started doing a show or a podcast, it was so long ago. It really was a while ago now. And he was so small at the time. He didn't have a lot of listeners. You know, maybe a couple hundred people were listening. Something. And you could email him, and he'd read the emails every goddamn time. Because there was a small audience. You know, probably, eventually he got to maybe like 1,000 people listening or something. And even then, you could still send him shit, and he'd still read it. And it was fun. And then his show got bigger and bigger and bigger. His podcast got bigger and bigger and bigger. And he's gotten so much bigger. He's like one of the top comedians now going. And luckily for him, he kind of dances around the whole thing. Like Louis C.K., right, went too far. You know, and it wasn't, you know, so what, he likes to play with his dick in front of people. Who gives a shit? You know, so, you know, Bill Burr hasn't done that yet, so he's cool. But also Louis C.K. says fucked up shit, right? Which I think is hilarious. But with the whole dumbass PC culture right now, people are freaked out. So if you add the weird shit that he said about, like, you know, dead babies and, you know, you ever just wanted to just go up to a dead baby and, I don't know, like tinkle on it or something. And the crowd goes, oh my God. No, I'm serious. I'm just kidding. I was, You know, just saying, sometimes you got to tinkle in front of a dead baby body. But, you know, in like that type of humor, right? And people just go, oh my God, and people are quivering. And then it comes out that he's like playing with his dick in front of people or something. And then you think about all his comedy, and then it just becomes like a sleazeball, right? Which I don't agree with. I think he's fucking just a sick comedian. Funny, fucking whatever. But luckily for Bill Burr, he like balanced the line. You know what I mean? Bill Burr is funny as fuck, but he doesn't really get creepy, like too creepy. Which, you know, isn't because he doesn't want to be. I don't even think. I just think he's a different style of humor. But whatever, his humor is perfect because it's like on the edge, but it doesn't go crazy far. So he made it through. Like there was like a cutoff. You know what I mean? There was like it's like PUBG or Fortnite where the fucking ring is coming, the circle's coming. And you know, Bill Burr just happened to get in the circle right as the fucking circle hit, you know? He just happened to get in the good zone right before everybody else got hacked off. And he was left standing, man. Remember Dane Cook? God, I hated that fucking cunt. Fucking Dane Cook stole one of my jokes once. And I was convinced of it because I put it up on YouTube. And I told it in a video where I was making fun of Dane Cook. So I was making fun of Dane Cook, and I told it. It had something to do with a priest. I remember that. And then literally like 6 months later, his special came out, or one of his things came out. And he told the fucking joke. And I said, oh my God, what the fuck? And my friend called me too because he watched my YouTube channel. And he was like, dude, he stole your fucking joke. And I'm like, I don't know. You sure it's a little different, but not? And he's like, dude, he's had to have seen it because his name was in your video. And that was back when YouTube was brand new. So maybe he did see it. I don't know. I'm not sure. Kind of like the Curb Your Enthusiasm thing where I did the video back in 2003 about my buddy coming over to steal my food. Or coming over and then he just grabbed something from my fridge. And then I freaked out. What are you doing? Just going in my fridge. You can't just, you got to ask. Dude, I was just grabbing something from the fridge. Well, oh, sure, fine. Well, just help yourself to everything. And like I did this whole thing because in school we got an assignment that we had to parody a TV show. So I decided to parody Curb Your Enthusiasm. So I did this scene where my buddies helped me paint my house. But he goes into the fridge and just pulls out some food. And I come down and he's eating the food. And I go, dude, you just went in the fridge? You know, and I acted like Larry David. Like, you just go in my fridge, you know? And the whole thing is almost verbatim. And I want to say it was about, and I put it up on YouTube because I put up some of my stuff on YouTube. Well, literally, again, 8 months later, or a year later or something, Curb Your Enthusiasm does that exact thing where someone goes into Larry's fridge. I think it was like season 6 or 7. I don't remember. And dude, again, my buddy calls me. He goes, motherfucker, they took your goddamn idea. And I even made a video about it exposing them and saying like, what the fuck? Like, if you're going to take my idea, pay me or tell me or hire me or something. And I got shit on YouTube. People were like, you're a loser. No one stole your idea, retard. And I'm like, dude, look at the VHS tape. It's dated fucking 2003. I was like, I did this in TV class when I was in high school, and in 11th grade and 12th grade was 2003 and 2002, so I can prove that I fucking, you know, that I did this back then, and then I put it on YouTube, and what do you know, within a year, my idea was taken, and it was exactly verbatim almost, most of it. If you ever watched it, it's crazy, because like, one of the biggest thing was, you just go in the fridge without asking. And Larry David, you just go in the fridge? Yeah, same thing. Now, granted, maybe it was parallel thinking. Maybe. And they just happened to, because I was trying to write for the show because my assignment was to make a parody, an episode that hadn't been made of a show you like. And I said, well, and it was a scene, not a show, just a scene in a show. So, you know, I just thought, well, this would be a great scene, you know. I was trying to come up with ideas that would happen in the show Curb Your Enthusiasm. And I said, well, I got an idea. What if you go into the fridge to grab a snack or something while I go upstairs? And then I come down and you're eating the food or whatever. And I'm like mad about it. Like, why the hell? What are you doing? You just going in the fridge? And then you can be like, yeah, I'm just grabbing some dip. I'm grabbing some food, you know. What, you just go in there without asking? I mean, like, what's not a big deal? You know, I just grabbed this. I just was thirsty. I grabbed the... And then it's like, okay, yeah, it's not a big deal. Oh, well, you want something else? You want something else? You want to take the whole fridge back to your house? And then here, why don't you have some bananas? I got some bananas. Why don't you have some of these? You want some of these? You want some cans? Take them home to your family. You know, it becomes a whole argument. Stupid, you know, just like Curb Your Enthusiasm. I feel like that's something that could happen on the show. And then 4 years later, it did happen on the show. And it's 100% proven that it was my idea first. Whether they stole it, whether the parallel thinking. I mean, I like to think no matter what, I was that damn good at writing, at coming up with an idea, that it was either used or I at least was as good at coming up with ideas as the writers on The Real Show. And nothing, I wonder whatever came of that. I just wonder. You know what I mean? If they stole it. And if they did, it's too bad, you know, that someone, you know, wouldn't reach out to me and say, hey, you know, that was a good idea. You know, we used it. Or, you know, could we use it? And, hey, would you ever think about working or being a part-time writer for the show or something like that? And if they didn't steal it and they just had parallel thinking, then I guess I feel rewarded that my idea was good enough. You know, it would have been used. Although, I believe it's coming to me now that somebody, I think, and you Seinfeld people out there, and I liked Seinfeld, and I watched a lot of Seinfeld, but I did miss a lot of episodes of Seinfeld. I did miss some, believe it or not. I've probably seen 70 Seinfeld episodes, and many of those episodes hundreds of times. But I've definitely missed a lot of Seinfeld, which is good because I can go back and watch it. But somebody, I believe, told me that possibly they did the joke on Seinfeld. But I said, well, did they? Because, I mean, Kramer always just came over and took food from Jerry's shit. So maybe that's where part of it came from me as well. I don't know. Maybe I'm full of myself and I'm full of shit. And I shouldn't give myself so much credit. And maybe I'm just an idiot. Maybe I'm just, you know, I'm like that loser who's like, remember high school when I scored the touchdowns? Oh, Al Bundy. That's Al Bundy. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm like Al Bundy. My biggest achievements are things that I thought I came up with that other people really did later on. You know? Like the hashtag fact thing. Back years ago on my show, all of a sudden I said, fact. You know, hashtag fact. And then I started saying fact after everything. And then a year and a half later, Tyson Kidd on WWE started saying fact. And I went, what the fuck? He stole my fucking shit. And I thought since I was such a big, not big, but a decent sized wrestling show on YouTube, that maybe Tyson Kidd saw our video and said, hey, I'm going to start saying fact. And then he denied it and said he had no idea who I was. And then Cesaro, I came up with an idea that Cesaro should rip off a suit, come out to the entrance ramp and rip off his suit. And that's also proven. You can go look up that video that happened 6 months before Cesaro ever did it. And then 6 months later, watching, or it might have been less, 3 months or something. I think it was 6 months, though. And then Cesaro's ripping off his suit, and we went, what the fuck? And I said, you know, they have writers that are assigned to them a lot. And I'm wondering if a writer who listened to my show came up with the fact thing, told Kidd to do it, he did it, and then Cesaro, he gave an idea about the suit. I would love to speak with those guys about this, because two things of mine that were very blatant, especially the suit thing. Like the fact thing, you know, you could think that's parallel thinking. But who the fuck else would think that Cesaro should wear a suit looking like James Bond with glasses, come to the ramp, and then rip the suit off, like, epically? Like, we described it exactly like that. Jake DeMarco, like, remembers it vividly. I remember a little bit of it. And then fucking months later, they did it. And it was like, wow. I can't get some kind of fucking credit or something. Somebody fucked me. But, and for all we know, it was one of the writers who called in and said they don't work there anymore, you know, and they knew my show. So maybe it was that. Maybe I should ask that guy. I don't know. Seemed like a nice guy that wouldn't do that, but man, it was weird. I should have asked him, though. But hey, anyway, guys, I think I went off on fucking tangent, never finished my full complete sentence during all this bullshit. But a giant asteroid's about to go by us tomorrow, so enjoy that. About the size of Statue of Liberty. I don't know, 100,000 miles away or 50,000 miles away. I don't remember how close it is. I don't know. And now John Cena says he wants to have a wedding with Nikki Bella and have a family. So that's fucking weird. Fucking really weird, right? But anyway, shit happens. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to fucking bed. But I hope you guys enjoyed Morning Madness today. Hope you guys have a great day. And, you know, I will see you tomorrow. Shit, we'll have the SmackDown review. We'll have, we'll play PUBG later, hopefully. And I want to say thank you to Joe Bashir, $5 pledging $5. I speak backwards sometimes at night. I'm fucking weird. And also to Scott McKinnon, who pledged $25. And the fuck is this? You ever get a weird fucking email and you just go, yeah, this is bullshit? And you go, yep. Well, it's the fakest fucking email ever, too. It's like fucking, we need help unlocking your PayPal again. It's like, yeah, I don't believe you. Nice try, though. You know? Just fucking stupid idiots. They like copy and paste a fucking dumbass like, you know, reply here with a fucking link. Like, yeah, okay. Unlock now. Like, nobody believes. And the best is comes from like fucking no reply account at Frontier. The fucking bullshit email. That was funny. All right, man. I just wasted you guys' time by dragging myself over here like blah, 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 blah. Love you guys. Thank you for keeping the show running on YouTube and here on Patreon. You're all the best. Thank you guys so much. Everybody who's up their pledges, who's listening, thank you for going above and beyond, and especially picking up the slack for some people who may be having financial troubles or can't afford stuff at the time. So thank you guys who have increased your pledges. Thank you to all the $5 patrons. And thank you to everybody else who's increasing theirs, maybe $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, $20, $30, whatever. You know, certainly that's way above and beyond. You know what I mean? But I know some people, if they can afford it and you can help and you're doing that, I can't thank you enough. And, you know, you're, I don't know, man. It's so nice of you guys to go that high and to do that. And you make everything better for everybody else, too. People that can't afford the show, you know, people that, you know, can't do that much. You know, they can do $1 or $2 or $5. And you guys are going up at 20s and 15s and things like that, which is really helping to keep the show on. So thank you guys. You're the reason we're here. And I love everybody. Hope you guys leave comments and likes on this on Patreon. Unless you're listening to this in an audio format in your car or somewhere, enjoy your goddamn day. Don't let a radio fall on your head and fuck your boss in the ass. And if you're at school, well, I hope somebody farts in your class and your teacher passes out from it. Bye.